Hey guys, what is going on? So today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different than, the whole survival and prepping thing. And I think this is really important to kind of cover, and then I will make another video to kind of talk about what's going on in the world in the more survival and prepping areas. But I had to get this off my mind because it's really been bothering me. So let's dive right into it. And that is the interview with Keely Mullen and the Million Student March. If you have not seen it, I will post a link to see that video in the description box below. However, there's another video to follow that once you watch that, you need to watch an older video of hers where she contradicts herself. Because in the interview, she says she's from a very working class family. And in the next video, she says that she is from an upper middle class family in Chicago who essentially is very affluent. And they're artists. So if she can't get her facts straight on what her family is, how can she ever be trusted by these people to follow? But then again, that's kind of how these people that are following her are. They sway whichever way gets them what they want. So let's talk about this. I have a degree in a STEM program. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. That's plain and simple. You're in one of those fields, you're good. These kids, most of them in the Million Student March, are in liberal arts degrees or degrees that are going to get them nowhere in life. I'm not trying to call people out. I don't know what your degree is. Whatever it is, you may be doing very well or you may be suffering. But what I notice is people with comparative religions, gender studies, this is the biggest one, African women's studies, Latino studies, African American studies, history of America, history of Europe, readings from Rome, things like that. 4-year degrees in this. And these kids think that they have something marketable. You cannot market your skill of knowing Mark Twain into a manufacturing job, into a science job. You can teach with these degrees. You could qualify for degrees that only require a bachelor's degree, although those are kind of going to the wayward side because they want somebody with a degree in the field that they're going into, for the most part. And then you got people with psychology degrees believing that they can be, flippant psychologists. You can't be a psychologist, as far as I know, without having a more advanced degree or a license or something of that sort. You can't just get a 4-year degree in psychology and go start doing therapy for people. In some states or areas, that may be true. I know that in the state I currently reside in, you can be a social worker with a 4-year degree and do things in social services and counseling. That's not psychology. You are not a psychologist, but you can be a counselor. So that's kind of what we're dealing with all these kids. So why is it this way? Well, you see the minorities pushing for a program that fits their beliefs and what they feel is right and that the world needs to have shoved down our throats. So they want like African women's studies and African American history and all these degrees that they push for. And then they sign up for these degrees. And then they graduate. And then they go to an interview and notice very quickly they cannot answer the questions of the interviewer. They cannot apply skills that they learned. Their skills do not even closely align with what the job requires. And then they wind up driving a forklift at Costco like the gentleman I met the other week when I went shopping. Folks, it's not that hard to see. I mean, being from a STEM degree, I realize 2 things are wrong. One, these programs are garbage. They're just top off the head. It sounds good. Let's force the colleges to provide this because it's part of my ethnicity, it's part of my background. And the other thing is when they get a degree that is perhaps a little more marketable, like psychology or economics or things like that in the liberal arts departments, they can't apply it. Okay, cool. If I'm in an interview and you're in here with me and you're saying you got a 4-year degree in psychology, I'll ask you a few things. One, tell me what you can do. What can you use your degree for? And that's where people stumble. Because they learned all these theories, all these sciences, all these things that they had, and yeah, they know it, but they cannot apply it. You have to be able to apply skills you've learned. The application is the hardest part for all these kids, because in those liberal arts degrees, they teach you tons of things, tons of stuff to learn, but you can't apply it. Just because you know how to write a paper doesn't mean you can write it specifically for something. Just because you know where to put a comma doesn't mean that you can apply that knowledge to something else. Like in an interview, if somebody came in and said, I know how to place a comma exactly where it needs to go, I would ask the question, what can you do for me? And they would go, well, I have a lot of knowledge on how to do things. Well, that's good. The way they should answer that is, since I have extensive knowledge in grammar, I will be able to proofread the ads for the advertising department and ensure that the customers receive a quality ad, or target market receives a quality ad. Well, okay, that's a little better than saying that you know where to put a comma in everything you do. It's the application, folks. I just get so fed up because I am so sick of these people, anyone, even in the STEM field, that just complain and whine and moan and groan because they don't know what they're doing. College teaches you the foundation, knowing what you can do. The real question is will you do it? I learned numerous things about business and statistics and forecasting and psychology and all these things building up to go into a field. And I connect all these pieces together and create a package. And that is why I'm successful. Because I can take bits and pieces from everything I've learned and put them together and create something that is functional and useful. So that's something they don't teach these kids in these programs. And I think that's a big problem. Now, the 3 core demands of Keeley's Million Student March is free public college, $15 an hour minimum wage for on-campus jobs, and debt forgiveness. Okay, debt forgiveness. You can pay your own debt back when you get a job, unless you don't know how to market yourself. You could do $15 an hour in a more advanced position that requires more skill. Minimum wage is minimum wage for a reason. It is the minimum pay for the minimum skills. And minimum wage is not intended for you to stay at that wage. It is there as a bare minimum. If you're stuck in a job like that and you have no other way to do it, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But there are tons of people out there who work themselves and work hard and save money and put back money and live in their car and do all these things and take sacrifices to make a better life for themselves. They don't beg for handouts. And the whole thing about free public college, go ahead. That doesn't bother me. Because free public college, they're not going to get into STEM programs unless they're really wanting to try. They're going to go into all these stupid degrees that are useless, that you could go to the library and read up on if you're really that interested in it. So go ahead. It's not going to affect the job market much. It's going to really stimulate the college's amount of funds they get. But then you're going to have all these non-pay on the student loans and all these people putting themselves into heavy debt and all this money that needs to be paid back because they get a degree that is not marketable. Folks, this is where our world is at. You've got people complaining and whining and making a huge deal out of not being able to get a job out of college. There are all degrees that do not see placement for students that graduate. It will come, but you need to learn how to apply it. I wish they taught a class on how to apply your degree. I think they call them capstone courses. I've been in many capstone courses sitting in just to see what these colleges are teaching. They do a horrid job. I learned to apply things on my own. I learned to say, okay, I took a few psychology courses, I took a few calculus courses, I took business and statistics and economics and sciences, and I can piece these things together and create one big package of information that makes me a marketable person. Coming from a STEM degree, I do have a little bit of an advantage over somebody, say, that didn't come from a Bachelor of Science in something, but I'm still able to realize that these other degrees and these other people that are getting these degrees can still market themselves. The question is, can they? I wanted to finish this off today with a little something that I've been thinking about lately, and it's really difficult for me to wrap my head around this, but if you have all these students complaining and whining and moaning that they can't get jobs and all these things, why aren't they in the classroom or their dorm rooms or at home or in their car or whatever it is, studying, working hard, trying to get into a degree program that will get them a job? That's what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around. I don't understand why these people are wasting their time doing this million student march when they could be studying and working hard and applying to a rigorous, difficult, top program at their school. Why are they doing this? It's because they don't want to work. They don't know how to do it, maybe. They don't want to do it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not something they're comfortable with, not interested in. I don't know. But I know this. I worked hard in college. I paid for my college. I have spent years making my life better for me. And I do not take handouts. I would rather walk home in the rain, which I have done when my vehicle runs out of gas, than stop somebody on the side of the road to take me to the gas station. I would rather freaking starve until my next paycheck than ask for a handout, because this is my life. I'm responsible for me. It is nobody else's problem that I didn't spend my money wisely or that I ran my vehicle out of gas, which I truly, honestly did. I've never gone hungry, and I am so thankful for that. I am so thankful. But I have run my vehicle out of gas miles from home, and I walked home in the rain, got my fuel can, and walked all the way back, because I refuse to take help from other people, because it's not their problem. It's mine. I want you to take away today something, and that is that you are responsible for you. This isn't some sort of bash video for people that get liberal arts degrees. For all I know, a couple of you have liberal arts degrees, and I'm sure you're applying it. Personally, I don't care what a person looks like, where they come from, whatever it is. As long as they stand up for what's right, they stand up for the better good of society, themselves, and their families. If you do those things, I will respect you. I don't care your ethnicity, your age, your gender, anything of that sort. If you demonstrate that you are responsible, trustworthy, hardworking, and dedicated, that's all that matters. That's what I want you to take away from this. Keely Mullen is leading a million-student march of misery, sinking these kids' very influential minds into believing that life is just a handout, that if you get enough people together, you can make a change. Sure you can. But these kids, their lives, they're so important, but they don't take advantage of it. And in my next video, I'm going to be talking about the events that have been going on in the world, but this has really been eating at me. And I had to get it out and see if anybody else agreed with me. If you agree that you are responsible for your own self, please let me know in the comments below. Please, let me know I'm not alone. If you disagree, please state your facts and your opinions. But there has to be a fact to back it up. If you're going to provide me some sort of disagreement, I am completely open to that. Collaboration is very important. However, don't just give me, I don't feel that way. Give me facts. Say, I don't feel this way because statistics say, or I don't feel this way because of this. That is totally acceptable. I respect that. We're in the last 30 seconds. I wanted to thank you for watching my videos. I do apologize for not making any very recently. And I do know that this was quite a long video, but I had a lot of information to cover. In the end, the only person that matters is you and your family. Take care, be safe, do the right thing, and always remember, preparedness is for those that do.